if you've seen it. There it is. Okay, so basically this is a hydrolysis reaction. It's water in, the monomer out. You don't have to pay attention to the details, except if you are one of the natural scientists in the group. But it shows them graphically what's happening. If you click again, you will see what happens when you make a polymer out of monomers. So you start with a 3-block molecule and you make it into 4 blocks. That's growing a polymer. And if you click again, you'll see the animation that does that. And that's a case of water out, monomer in. So this is a very simple summary of the stuff that they would have read in their textbook, hopefully, if they looked at the assignment before coming to class. So if you click again, I will show you what I did to these 4 slides, or to these slides, to make a clicker presentation out of it, and then the consequence, which is the most interesting thing. So you should be looking at a slide that says the first clicker presentations, which were made from original PowerPoints. If you click one more time, you'll see the same slide that we saw starting the last presentation. So I'm just showing it to you. It's basically the same slide, informational. If you click again, you'll see a turning point slide. And it actually is active, so if you want to try and take a stab at the answer, go right ahead. You'll have to click to see the animation first. So go ahead and click to see the animation, and then after the animation, if you click again, you see the question. And the question, I hope you can read this. It says, the generic reaction is a hydrolysis reaction, a condensation reaction, makes a monomer, releases energy. Pick the right answer if you want to give it a shot. We won't spend a lot of time on it. The students will see in my class when I actually give this lecture in class. Are we full up with answers pretty much? I'll let you guys click the next click when you think that everyone is answered, or everyone wants to answer an answer. I'm moving on to the next slide. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, what did I even ask? Well, we won't say who's right and who's wrong, but there's the right answer. It's a condensation reaction. Why is it called condensation? I tell the students, well, you can remember that as condensation is when water condenses on a surface, right? Well, water has come out of this reaction. If you look at the little HOH at the side, that's the water coming out. And you've built a polymer by adding one more monomer. Monomer in, water out. So this is my one clicker slide. If you click one more time, you go to the next slide, and it's now introducing the second component of this. If macromolecules are made by condensation reactions, you can click again. Then this is the fate of the macromolecules in your lunch, and this then is the hydrolysis, the breakdown of the monomers. So if you click one more time, you'll see the animation. We've already seen this in my PowerPoint slides, but now it's what I'm talking about in class. And the last slide is a kind of summary of everything. Condensation reactions, if you click one more time, condensation reactions link monomers into polymers, and this is an example of anabolism. That's the metabolism of synthesis. And hydrolysis reactions are examples of catabolism, the metabolism of chemical breakdown. And that's the end. That's as much biology as I really want to go through. I felt like I should at least go through this the way I might teach it in class. Now I want to show you what happens in practice from one semester to the next. If you click again, you'll see that I want to talk about revising my non-clicker slides, right? Keep in mind that every semester when I make revisions, I'm revising my clicker presentation, and it's getting further and further from my original PowerPoint. We haven't changed textbooks yet, but the day that comes is the day that I dread. But in any event, I still have to have something to post. I have to do this, as it says, if I want to post my PowerPoints before class and have them make sense to the students looking at it before they come to the classroom. So let's click one more time, and I'm going to just go through these very quickly. This is the same first slide you saw before. When you click, you'll see the same sort of introductory information at the top, but it's the same thing. There might be a change or two in there that's very minor. If you click again, it's another slide of the same sort. No change so far, but I'm about to show you what I consider as significant changes. If you click one more time, you'll get some of the biochemical bits that they would see at home before coming to class. And there are some differences. And so there it is. If you click again, you'll see the same animation. In this case, building a polymer by adding one more monomer. But I want to point out something's missing. Perhaps, I don't know. Oh, yes, okay. So now, you click one more time. Go to the next slide. I lost my track. Go to the next slide. What I've just shown is one animation. Now I'm going to connect the new with the familiar again on the next slide. But this time, you'll see the difference. So there are 3 points that I make. And then if you click one more time, I ask a question. Remember, in my original PowerPoints, I had questions, and I kind of opened them up to the class, and I called on a few students who would be able to respond, and I got an answer, and then I would show them the correct answer. Well, I don't do that here. If you click one more time, you get a second question, and these are now open-ended. So a big difference between this PowerPoint and the earlier one is that, first of all, I only showed one half of the set of reactions, the polymerization. I didn't show the breakdown, and the questions are open-ended. They're something the students can think about. They can still connect the familiar with the unfamiliar, but they have to do it on their own. Okay? They don't get the hint from me. So have you clicked one more time to put my note in there? It should say, note that only polymerization is shown, open-ended questions. Lead the students to hydrolysis, but not all the information is presented. You should be seeing that. There you go. I just got it. So that's the main difference between the old PowerPoints that they can print out and the new ones, the revised ones. Click one more time, and you'll see what I realized after I had done this a few times for several of the lectures. I had developed what I call the clicker set, in which the PowerPoints with the open-ended questions are acting synergistically with the turning point questions in class. In other words, let's go one more slide, and you'll see the same slides side by side. Don't try to read them closely because they're very small. But I put the new or revised non-clicker presentation, set of 4 slides, next to the turning point slides, not so that you should read them, but so that you should see the sum of the two equaling the clicker set. The non-clicker slides on the left, my clicker presentation of the same information on the right. If you click one more time, I will define the clicker set for you. It includes then the critical thought questions that I asked before class that I do not answer. Students have to think about it themselves. And then the clicker questions in class, which I make into a low-stakes quiz. In other words, they are worth points. And that is so that the students will actually spend a few minutes at home thinking about the answers, maybe jotting them down on the slide itself if they printed them out. And this is done routinely, would be done routinely in every lecture. So students are supposed to read ahead and think ahead, and then come to class better prepared to deal with more provocative, or at least more interesting clicker questions than just remembering a definition. Okay, so let me briefly just tell you that clicker sets are learning objects. If you click one more time, and I have a definition of a sort that I took from a publication that I wrote. Basically, it's a standalone, typically animated and interactive, rich media module that is designed to explain some relatively complicated process or concept. And the other component of learning objects is that they're shareable, and in an ideal world, they're also changeable, mutable. I'm not looking at the audience. Normally, I would ask an audience, to raise your hand, how many of you know about learning objects or know what a learning object repository is? Since I can't see you, I'm going to assume that a few hands went up, and that some of you don't use them and don't know about them. But the idea is that you can post a good learning object up on a learning object repository website for other people to download. And the one nice thing about TurningPoint or PowerPoint learning objects is not only can you share them, but anybody can modify them to suit themselves.